Hey everyone, a very warm welcome to another one of my LinkedIn live events. So, this is a continuation of the one that I could not do last week, which is how to overcome the fear of judgment. I'm not very good with tech, so something happened in the middle, and because of which this live event sort of got live on YouTube, but it did not go live on LinkedIn. By the way, this reminds me if you ever miss any of my live, I've also post them on YouTube in like playlists so that it is easier for you to access. And I'm working on sort of putting all of them in chronological order. So you can also check that out. Okay. So I'm just going to take a moment and see if I'm live or not because I don't want to speak for 30 minutes and then realize that I was not live at all, which is exactly what happened last week. Oh, and there is one more thing. Yeah, I'm live. Oh, thank God. Yes. So yes, as I was saying, there's one more thing. For this couple of weeks, I'm actually not doing my boot camp live. I'm actually giving access to the recordings of it to people who want to attend because of some health commitments that I have. So if you are someone who's actually never been able to make to my boot camps live because of some schedule issues or time issues, this is a great time to join the group or simply DM me recordings and I will send the recordings to you. You can see this pink line, right? So this is the childhood trauma healing boot camp I do every single week, as you all must be aware if you're following my work for a while. And yeah, reach out to me with the word recordings, and I will share the link with you. Now, today's topic is again very close to my heart, called overcoming the fear of judgment. The reason this topic is close to my heart is because I was someone who used to fear judgment. In fact, I remember the very first time I posted on LinkedIn, I wrote a post and I stared at it for 5 hours. Like, I'm not joking. I wrote the post at maybe I think around 10 p.m. and I stared at my laptop for about 2 or 3 a.m. Like continuously. I just stared at it. There were multiple things that went on in my head, that what if people judge me, what will my friends think, what will my old colleagues think, what will my teachers think who I'm connected to on LinkedIn. There were multiple thoughts. And in the beginning, when I used to post on LinkedIn, I used to have shivers run down my spine because that fear of judgment was still very present. So today, when I talk about this fear of judgment and how do you really overcome this, please know that this is something that I've personally worked on because I have felt it very deeply. You can be a confident person, but still there are fears that you may have, that you may experience very, very deeply. So personally speaking, I have not battled with confidence a lot, right? Because I've always been very proactive in my personal growth. But fear of judgment is something that I have experienced very deeply because I was bullied growing up. And we'll talk more about how bullying affects your confidence as well. So what used to confuse me and also what used to confuse other people is when I would tell them that I'm very afraid of what will people think of me. And as a general, if you see me, I don't really struggle with my confidence, but this is something that I did struggle with. So sometimes it may happen that you may be confident in different areas of your life, but there is one specific fear you may have, which could be connected with one specific childhood trauma, of course, or one specific memory that may trigger that fear again and again, right? So that is what the case was with me. Now, coming to the point. Now, if you're someone who's attending my live event for the very first time, what we do or how it is conducted is that I will be explaining to you a topic in depth, and then in the end, you get to ask me any questions you want. Also, I check my phone in the middle, so you can also ask me questions in the middle. You can just either comment where this live event is going on, or you can also DM me, right, if that's what you prefer. All right. So let's first understand what judgment really is. Okay. So before that, I want you to understand a nuance between the words called judgment and evaluation. So a lot of people think that judgment is very necessary in life. They think that, oh my God, if I don't judge, how will I, decide what is bad for me, what is good for me, what kind of a person I want in my life, what kind of friends I want, what kind of career I want, and yada yada. So this is a very minute difference I wanted to understand. Going out there and trying to see different options and trying to find out which is the right one for you objectively is called evaluation. Okay, there is the word objective in it. Judgment is nothing but looking down on something. That is what judgment really is. Judgment is not evaluation. Don't ever confuse them. A lot of people do that. A lot of people judge themselves and judge other people, and they think, oh, I'm just doing the right thing. How will I know what is right or wrong? That's not how it works. Even when you're talking about yourself, even when you want to grow, you must evaluate yourself objectively. For example, let's say that last week I had a technical glitch while hosting this live event, because of which I had to cancel it. Evaluation would be that, okay, what went right and what went wrong. What went wrong was that I did not check my live event getting live properly, because of which my time got wasted. So the correct measure for me would be to see that everything is taken care of before I go live. That's evaluation, which is recognizing a problem and coming up with a solution and implementing it. Judgment would be, oh my god, I'm so stupid. How can I not figure this out? I have done about 20-25 lives by now. How could I not figure out that my life did not actually go live? That is judgment. Me saying to myself, I'm stupid, I'm this, I'm that, how could I not do this? What will people think of me? That is judgment, right? And what is going to happen when I judge myself? I'm going to feel small. Maybe I may stop doing my live events altogether because I'm so afraid. I will criticize myself, and more importantly, I will not come up with a constructive solution or implement it. So judgment does not help. Judgment always come from a place of fear, right? And that is why people who have a lot of judgment inside of them towards themselves, also projected towards others, people who judge others as well as themselves, are people who are deeply afraid, right? Whereas people who evaluate themselves objectively are not afraid. They're looking for solutions. So they're not coming from a place that I'm a victim. They're coming from a place that I'm a creator. So that is the difference between evaluation and judgment. So please understand that judgment is never ever necessary. It is a choice you make because you are afraid or you want to criticize other people. Evaluation is what we really need and what is healthy. So ask yourself again and again, what am I really doing? Am I evaluating the situation and people and circumstances, or am I judging them? Because judgment means looking down on people, looking down on things. Judgment means attaching a lot of emotion to an objective circumstance. For example, last week when I had a technical glitch, it's an objective circumstance. In reality, it has no emotion to it. But let's say that I lack confidence, right? And I have never worked on it. I am going to attach unnecessary emotion to that one objective event. That, oh my God, I'm so stupid. How can this happen to me? I'm so unlucky, and yada yada. And the things we say when we want to victimize ourselves, right? So that's one nuance I wanted to understand. Now, what is the fear of judgment? So, judgment, you understand, right? Judgment is nothing but looking down on people. Now, before I even discuss fear of judgment, there's one more concept I wanted to understand, which is called the concept of inner safety that comes from social approval. Okay, I'm going to repeat it again. The concept of inner safety that comes from social approval. Now, I have spoken about inner safety a lot. If you have been through my live events, you know that I always tell you that confidence, specifically natural confidence, is not dependent on any skill. It's not dependent on how well you are doing in your career, your relationship, and yada yada. It is completely dependent on your inner sense of safety, which means if you were to have nothing today, would you still feel enough? If you were to fail at everything you're doing, would you abandon yourself or would you still stay with yourself? If you go to 10 people and all of them criticize you, would you criticize yourself or would you still stay with yourself and look at yourself lovingly? That's the difference between people who have inner safety and who don't have inner safety. A lot of people confuse skill confidence with actual confidence. They think that if I have one more degree, one more certificate, just one more achievement, I'm going to feel confident. That's called volatile and situational confidence. Okay, it is earned, and natural confidence is not earned. Natural confidence is a result of deep sense of belief in yourself. And people who have natural confidence always succeed faster and in a more exponential way than people who have volatile confidence. Why? Because people who have volatile confidence, situational confidence, wait for evidence to believe in themselves. They will wait. Have I gotten enough marks? Do I have the degree? Do I have the achievement? If they have it, then they feel like, okay, yes, now I can feel confident. If they don't have it, they will not. Whereas people who have natural confidence don't wait for other people's permission or validation. They believe in themselves, and that is why they take action faster, take bets faster, and succeed faster. So, if you are someone who actually wants to experience exponential growth, always make natural confidence your goal, not earned confidence. Earned confidence is the gift of hustle culture, which pushes you to always hustle and hustle and hustle to feel good about yourself. And it's a hamster wheel that doesn't result into anything. If you truly want to feel confident within yourself, always focus on inner safety. And inner safety will always come from healing. It will never come from running behind hacks. It will never come from running behind validation from your authority figures or other people. It will not come from getting certificates after certificates or whatever external sense of achievement you may tie to, right? Now, coming back to the original topic, now, you must understand that we are human beings, okay? And human beings are social animals, and we like to feel included. We like to feel that people like us. So, this is a primitive setting that we have, right? Now, you must understand that as human beings, we have evolved, right? We are not as primitive as we suppose as we used to be, right? We are not hunters and gatherers. You're not going out there and hunting for food and stuff. So, you must understand that there are certain functions inside of you that are still, that are default functions, that are primitive in nature, right? That are not as sophisticated. It is your job to make it sophisticated. That is the difference between someone who has a growth mindset and who has a fixed mindset. People who have a fixed mindset still operate from that primitive wiring, and that is why they're unable to move forward. Whereas people who have a growth mindset invest in themselves, get their brain coached, and move from the primitive mechanism to a sophisticated mechanism. So let's take an example. What is a primitive mechanism? I want to be liked. That if I'm in a group, I'm safe. That if everyone is telling me I'm doing the right thing, it means I'm doing the right thing. That's a primitive setting, right? Now, let's say that you are in a group of people who are doing drugs, okay? And they tell you that doing drugs is a great thing. What is a primitive setting? A primitive setting will tell you that when you hear it again and again every single day that drugs is a great thing, you may believe it because you are someone who is unable to think beyond your primitive setting. Whereas person who has a more sophisticated way of thinking will not believe just because the masses are saying that this is the truth. They will question it, they will vet it, they will come to their own conclusion. Now, obviously, this is a very stark contrasting example, which is very obvious, but it happens, right? That is why a lot of people who stay in a group of average people tend to become very average, because they think that if I am around people and I'm blending in, it means I'm doing something right, I'm doing something great. And that is why people who also face a lot of resistance towards taking any risk are usually these people, right? They feel that if I'm doing what everyone is doing, it means I'm doing it right, it means I'm safe. So what tends to happen here, and how it is exactly related to judgment, is that when you come across people who are judging you, your primitive setting will tell you that we are in danger. Your primitive setting will tell you that you have done something wrong. But your sophisticated setting, which is a result of getting your brain coached, will tell you that just because this person has told me that I've done something wrong doesn't mean that it's actually wrong. I'm going to evaluate myself. I'm going to see, was it really wrong, or was it wrong according to this person's opinion? Or maybe what is wrong for this person is actually right for me and I'm okay with that. That's a sophisticated way of thinking, which is, it is a deeper layer of thinking, a more critical way of thinking. Primitive thinking would be, oh my god, this person made an expression at me, I am doing a horrible job. Oh my god, this person has told me that I'm doing nothing in life, it means I'm doing nothing. This person has told me that businesses are very risky, it means I should never pursue a business. So what tends to happen with people in general, and as we are wired, is that we are we are wired to look for social approval. We are wired to feel a bit threatened when people criticize us. This is a primitive setting, and that is why a lot of people who fear judgment a lot are stuck on this setting. They are unable to move past it. And the thing is, you must understand that 1,000 people means 1,000 opinions, right? 1,000 people means 1,000 ways of thinking, 1,000 value systems, 1,000 ways of believing in different philosophies of life. So if you actually go out there and you try to impress everyone, you are always going to be afraid of judgment, and you will ultimately never be happy with yourself or make anyone happy, because people's definition of happiness is very, very different, right? Let's say you come to me and I tell you, you know what, drugs is a good thing, go do drugs. And someone else tells you, no, drugs is not a bad thing. So who will you listen to? And how do you decide? And again, I'm taking a very stark example here, but there are a lot of things, people tell you from multiple viewpoints. And people who are afraid of judgment try to conform to all of them, right? They try to conform to every single thing. And that is why You must understand that this is a very default setting, a primitive setting that we have. But if you actually want to move beyond it, you must you must strive for a more sophisticated way of thinking, a tier level, a tier 2 level or a tier 3 level thinking, where you're actually asking yourself that is this the person I actually want to listen to, right? We're going to discuss more tools going ahead, but just to let you know that because we also strive for social approval all the time, the reason we do that is because we're social animals, right? We have always felt safer when we move in groups. So what tends to happen is that when a group of people do not like us, or let's say even a few people do not like us, we tend to feel in danger, right? We feel that we are in danger, our inner sense of safety gets threatened. Now, this also happens when we have not moved to a sophisticated way of thinking. Sophisticated way of thinking is when your inner safety comes from within, not from outside. When your inner safety comes from that, am I happy with my decision? And not from, are they happy with my decision? Are they approving of my decision? Do they like me? Should I do something about myself so that these people like me? Right? This is a primitive way of thinking. This is when your inner safety is tied to other people. Your inner safety always rests on you, because we are not hunters and gatherers anymore. Okay, you're a much more sophisticated individual. So you must move beyond your primitive thinking. You must move beyond what you are wired to think, right? Now, we have discussed two topics that I wanted to tell you. One is inner sense of safety, right, which is what I explained to you right now, and second is the concept of judgment and evaluation. Now let's move towards to what exactly does fear of judgment really mean. So fear of judgment is basically anticipating danger all the time, because as I told you, when people judge us, our inner sense of safety gets threatened. And when our inner sense of safety gets threatened, our body goes into a survival mode, right? It starts to feel incredibly anxious. That is why people who have a fear of judgment feel very anxious very quickly. And when your body enters into a survival mode, it stops thinking critically. Okay, because literally your blood is going towards your limbic system, your feet and your legs, right? That is why a lot of people would tell you that, whenever I go in front of people and I have to tell something important, I'm afraid of it, my hands start to shiver, I start to feel like I'm going to run away from the situation, and yada yada. So two things happen. One is you stop thinking critically. Second is you get anxious because your inner sense of safety gets threatened. So, fear of judgment is nothing but anticipating danger all the time. So, can you imagine someone who has never gotten coached around their fear of judgment, who has never resolved this issue, just how much fear they are living in, and just how small they're actually playing in their life? Because they're always afraid, right? And because fear of judgment can come from literally anywhere, right? Anybody can come and tell you, "Oh, you're stupid." And imagine a person who is not confident. They're going to believe such people. They're going to spend days and days racking their brain. Oh my God, what have I done? Right? That is why the people who don't resolve the fear of judgment experience very slow progress, because most of the time is gone, and most of the time is wasted actually into just ruminating about their thinking, ruminating about their fears, and just obsessing over what have I done wrong, instead of actually developing inner sense of safety, right? So that is what fear of judgment is: anticipating danger all the freaking time, right? Now, let's try to understand how does it actually look like what are some real life signs that we can see that you actually have fear of judgment. Before I do, I'll just check in if my live is going fine. Okay, yeah, it's fine. You guys can see it and hear it. Thank God. All right. So, the very first thing to look at is people who have a fear of judgment. Their very first thought is, "What are people thinking of me?" Why? Their first thought is that because they lack inner sense of safety, right? They don't really have this inner sense of belief that wherever I am safe. Whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm safe. I don't have to worry about things. Their sense of safety is tied with social approval. And when your sense of safety is tied with social approval, you're always going to worry about it. Because think of it, no? Your safety is tied with it. So for you, it's not people's opinion, it's literally your sense of safety you're deriving. So, very first manifestation of this is you are always worried about what are people thinking of me. You may look for expressions. You may nitpick. Oh my god, this person changed their tone with me. Oh my god, this person did not smile at me today. This person did not hang out with me today. This person preferred other the other person before me today. Or this person is following this person, not following me on social media. Other other nuances of it, other layers of it and levels of it. So the very first manifestation of this is always thinking about what are the other people thinking of me. Second is worrying about how other people perceive you. So here you become obsessive about your image as well. How am I looking? Am I saying the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? What kind of image do I want to maintain in front of this person, that person? Here you may give undue importance to people who are, let's say, in authority figures, or who are your bosses, or maybe in general people who have a higher social capital. So for example, you must have seen that some people get very anxious in front of confident people, or people who are well liked by everyone, right? Why? Because they think that this person is more valuable than me, right? Now again, why? Because they think that it's a competition, right? They think that whatever my image is out there is going to determine how valuable I am, which also means that if other people's image is bigger than me, it means that they're more valuable than me. So it becomes a value game for them, because again, what is happening? Their sense of value is not coming from within. Their sense of value is rented to other people, right? So here you become very obsessive about your image. You become very obsessive about how am I being perceived, what am I looking like, what am I wearing, am I you know wearing the right thing, am I speaking the right words? So everything becomes about perception. So here you may also do things you don't want to do to maintain an image of yourself in front of other people. You may work insane amount of hours because you want to show your boss, oh my god, look, I'm working so hard. You may take on a lot of burden on you because again, you want other people to think you're so generous, so nice, and stuff like that. So you may even compromise and sacrifice your life, your time, just to maintain an image of you. Now, a third, and again a bit subtle but a very important part, is people who fear judgment tend to have a very big aversion of looking weak in front of other people. They don't want to look weak, they don't want to feel small, right? They always want to either overpower other people, that look, I'm so strong, I'm so powerful, I can do everything. Or they're just very afraid that someone may look down on them, so they're very very afraid of being made fun of. They're very very afraid that someone will talk behind them, gossip about them. Basically very afraid of their image again. And because of this fear, again, because they don't want to appear small, they may do grandiose things, or they may try to maintain an image of themselves. They may do things they don't want to do because again, they want to appear something of importance. This is overcompensation, right? Whenever a person becomes very obsessive about look, I'm so powerful, I'm so rich, I'm this, I'm that, it's overcompensation, because they deep down feel very insecure, right? They actually don't feel secure about what they have, and they feel the constant need to show it off, to overcompensate the fear that they feel in their body, right? So such people may try very hard to show how powerful they are, how rich they are, or how this they are, basically always trying to assert that look, I am bigger, I am bigger, because deep down they actually feel very small. A person who actually feels big doesn't feel the need to show it, right? But a person who feels small but doesn't want other people to know it, that they feel small, will try very hard to appear big, right? That's the difference. Now, next one is quite obvious, which is social anxiety, being very afraid of talking to new people, meeting new people, very afraid of initiating new conversations, having problem networking with people, always feeling that I want to make new friends, but I don't want to talk to new people because what will they think of me, right? So this is a very classic example of also fear of judgment, where fear of judgment translates into social anxiety. Because again, as I told you in the beginning as well, fear of judgment will always result into anxiety, because what is anxiety? Anxiety is nothing but constantly scanning the environment for threats. And what are you doing in fear of judgment? You're constantly scanning. What is this person thinking of me? What is this person thinking of me? What is this person thinking of me? So what's going to happen to your body? Your body is going to always be in alert mode, in survival mode. So in social anxiety and fear of judgment is very deeply connected. Okay. Now, the next thing is constantly trying to prove yourself, right? So feeling unnecessarily competitive. If someone is telling you that, oh, I did this well, feeling a sense of jealousy, or feeling a sense of scarcity, that, oh, why did I not do this? Oh my god, this person is better than me. Oh my god, I need to mention this. So always trying to one up people, always trying to show or see or say that, oh, you did this, look, I did this, right? So always trying to prove yourself, or let's say even going into a new environment, like switching jobs, starting a new career, or pivoting, always trying to assert that I am better than other people, I'm better than others. This is again overcompensation, right? Because you lack inner sense of safety, you don't actually feel good about yourself, you don't actually feel enough, right? You try to show it to other people that, no, I am enough. So it is, pretending. Now, let's try to understand, why does actually fear of judgment occur in the first place? Why does it happen? Okay, before that, I'm going to see if I have any questions. I feel that people will make fun of me if I go and talk to them. Yes, that is a very classic example of fear of judgment coupled with social anxiety. So, fear of judgment sort of fuels social anxiety, right? And when you are always worried that people are going to make fun of you, when you're always worried about, they may look down upon you, it may become very difficult to actually be in a state of flow while you're having conversation. So, one other thing we also see here is that people start to stammer, people forget what they want to say, people start to have conversation communication problems. So that is why a lot of people come and tell me, Rianshi, I have a communication problem, and I always tell them that the fact that you can speak to me in proper English or proper Hindi or whatever language, it means that you don't have a communication problem, you have a confidence problem, right? So communication issues also start to occur because of severe social anxiety, or social anxiety in front of certain specific people, right? And one more thing to mention here would be, fear of judgment may not always come from all people. It may also come from very certain people. Let's say you're very afraid that your boss may judge you because you may have problem with authority figures. Maybe you're afraid that your partner may judge you. You're afraid your friends may judge you, right? So fear of judgment doesn't always mean generically you're afraid of everything and everyone. It may also be compartmentalized to specific set of people or just one person. Now, why do we develop the fear of judgment? Now, as I told you in the beginning, that wanting social approval is a very normal thing. So, fear of judgment may feel normal, may feel like, yes, I should do the right thing, I should do the proper thing so everyone likes me. We are social animals, so we should be liked by each other. That's not really the case, right? That's again a primitive way of thinking. A sophisticated way of thinking is being yourself and allowing people who resonate with you to walk into your life instead of always chasing validation. That's a more sophisticated way of thinking, or a higher order thinking. Now, one thing you must know about people who have a fear of judgment is that an emotion they feel the most is shame, right? Shame is something they feel very quickly and very naturally. It's like a default emotion for them, right? So they feel small very quickly. If things are not going according to them, they may start feeling ashamed. If someone tells them, oh, I wish you would not have done that, they will feel ashamed. So shame comes very naturally to them. Now the problem here is that shame is not a natural emotion. Shame is not something you're actually born with. Shame is an emotion that is conditioned into you, it is learned, right? It is not a natural emotion you're born with. So people who experience shame very easily, which means people who are afraid of judgment, are usually people who have childhood trauma that they have not resolved. So, for example, one example is bullying, right? So, people who undergo bullying early on in life, maybe they were bullied by a teacher, maybe they were bullied by their friends, maybe they were bullied by their own parents, their brothers, sisters, whatever the case may be, right? So, when people undergo bullying, or even harassment of any kind, they tend to internalize that shame. Because what happens in bullying is when people, a lot, like either a group of people or a specific person, is looking down on you, and as a child you are unable to actually differentiate between what the other person is saying, between what the reality really is. And when people are criticizing you with a lot of force, you absorb it, because as a child you are a sponge, you absorb everything. So when a person goes through bullying early on in their age, they internalize and they absorb a lot of shame in their body, and the entire adult life is went into fighting that shame. The entire adult life they're fighting this sense of shame, that oh my god, am I doing the right thing? They're always afraid that people will come and humiliate them, people will come and blame them, people will come and look down on them, people will make them feel powerless the way they felt as a child, right? So bullying has a very big effect on fear of judgment. In fact, it leads to fear of judgment, because bullying is literally when you were judged, right, repeatedly or in a very forceful way. Now, second is being shamed by your own parents. So, as I've mentioned in another one of my live events as well, is that your sense of safety is very tied to your parents, right? When you're born out of your mother's womb, you don't actually have a sense of safety. Your sense of safety is tied with mom, and growing up, it gets tied with mom and dad. So, when your parents have criticized you a lot, when your parents have constantly told you you're not good enough, they've always told you, oh, look at this person, he's doing this, look at this person, he's doing that. Basically, when your own parents have shamed you for anything, right, could be your grades, your color, your body type, your gender, your achievements, whatever, you absorb that, and you carry that as your own emotion inside your body. And that is why whenever I'm doing childhood trauma healing and one-on-one coaching sessions with my clients, the reason my clients see immense amount of results is because we are not solving a problem that is theirs. They're actually releasing that emotion from their body. The reason it becomes so difficult for people with fear of judgment to move forward in life is because they think that they are the ones who are ashamed. They think that the shame is their own emotion, when in reality, shame is an emotion they borrowed because of the trauma they experienced, right? And that is why trauma healing is so life changing and so powerful. It literally changes your life. You're not the same person anymore when you undergo trauma healing, because you're literally releasing things from your body instead of running behind hacks or tools and confusing yourself that this is your emotion, right? Now, uh, next is lack of self acceptance, which is again tied with not being accepted by your mom and dad. So, lack of self acceptance also is a result of not actually being loved and appreciated either by one of your parents or both of your parents. So, when you don't get the love and attention you should be getting from both your mom and dad, it results into, again, you know, a lack of self acceptance within you. You start to, reject parts of you that were rejected by your own parents, right? That were rejected by your father, your mother, or both of them. So when you yourself don't accept you for who you are, you look for that validation in other people, right? And when other people don't give you that validation, you start to become very anxious because you don't feel safe anymore. So lack of self acceptance is also a very big reason why people fear judgment, because they themselves are judging themselves, no? When you yourself are so judgmental of who you are, then it's incredibly easy to be afraid of judgment coming from other people, right? Next is inherited shame from mom and dad. Now there are two parts of it here, okay? One is when you all your life you have seen your mom and dad criticize their own self. For example, you have a dad who just always keeps criticizing himself. I'm not good enough, I'm this, I'm that. He always keeps feeling sorry for himself. So what happens as a child growing up is that because your nervous system is tied very deeply with your parents, you feel the emotions your parents are feeling, right? So that is a direct way wherein you end up absorbing the emotions of your mom and dad. Whatever they are feeling, you start feeling that, right? Because again, growing up, your nervous system is not separate, it is very tied. So when you see your mom and dad feeling bad about themselves, ashamed about themselves, feeling very small about themselves, feeling that they're not good enough, you end up feeling the exact same things, right? Another is through a lens of intergenerational trauma, where your parents have felt something throughout their childhood, and you end up feeling the exact same thing. So one of the things what I do in my clarity call when I'm sitting with my clients is that I do a traumagram of them. A traumagram is basically when I make an entire family chart of them and I take a complete history, and we see where exactly is their trauma coming from. And that is when we're able to see, is this childhood trauma or is this is intergenerational trauma, which is trauma that is coming from mom and dad, right? Because not all pain that you experience is your pain. Sometimes it comes from your family system and you're not even aware. And that is why this work is so deep and so beautiful. It is not something you can do in a day. It is not something that you can run behind. It is not something that you can do because you don't actually want to do the work, but you just want a band-aid to put on it. Absolutely no. And that is why the few people who do deep trauma work are always ahead of those who don't, because they are digging into things that nobody has dug into. They are doing the work that 99% of the people are not doing. right? That's why there's a saying I love. It says that it's always crowded in the bottom, but it's very lonely at the top. Which means that, when you are at the bottom of your personal growth, you will see a lot of people. Oh my God, everyone is doing it. But when you actually start to do deep work, you will see that no one is doing it, right? That is why, if you actually want to experience the success and the fulfillment that very few people in this world feel, you have to be willing to do things that very few people actually do. You have to be willing to commit to a level which very few people do. Most of them get scared, most of them go back to their lives, most of them repeat this suffering cycle, right? So when you actually want to experience that level of fulfillment, that level of growth, that level of abundance and prosperity, you have to be willing to do deep work, because that is what secret really is. There is no secret outside of you, it's everything that's inside of you, right? Everything that you are experiencing right now outside of you is a reflection of what is inside, reflection of your deepest fears, your deepest beliefs about yourself. Now, coming to the next point, how do we actually overcome this, right? We have so far understood what exactly is fear of judgment, how does it manifest, and what does it really look like, and what is the reason you could have it. Now let's try to understand how do we overcome this. So I'm going to tell you three simple tools and three deep work paths that you need to take. Now, I'm giving you tools because you need to actually start somewhere. But remember, if you have not done deep inner work, you can go and Google 100 tools to overcome fear of judgment. You will find a list of them, but it will not result into anything. Because as I told you, fear of judgment is deep into your nervous system, right? It is a result of shame. And shame is something that has to be released from your body through trauma healing. Okay. So the very first thing I want you to do is, whenever you're feeling this fear of judgment, ask, whose voice is this in my head? So, for example, you're afraid that people are going to think that you are not talented enough. So ask, when have I heard this sentence before? Whose voice is this in my head? Is this my bully's voice? Is this my mom's voice? Is this my dad's voice? Was it a voice of my partner? Was it a voice of my friend? Where did I hear this from, that I'm not talented enough? Because as I told you, shame is not something that's natural, it is something that's learned. So if you have internalized shame, it means that there is a voice inside your nervous system which is not yours. So ask yourself, whose voice is this? And when you become aware of it, remind yourself that this voice is not mine. This is not me. This sentence that is living in my nervous system, this is not mine. This came from someone else's pain, and I'm going to return this back to them, because this pain is not mine to carry, right? The more you become aware and present with whose voice is in your nervous system, the more you will see where exactly this deep work has to be done. Second is always asking yourself, am I judging or am I evaluating? Now, this is a two-way thing. One is, you yourself may become very judgmental of yourself, which means that you judge yourself in every situation, and you think that I'm doing the right thing. How will I improve if I don't judge myself, right? That's when you need to ask yourself, am I judging or am I evaluating? Because growth comes from evaluation, destruction comes from judgment. So if you are judging, if you're looking down on yourself, if you're criticizing yourself, if you feel bad about yourself, if you play the victim card, you think that you're a victim, you're judging. Evaluation is, okay, let me see what exactly has happened. What was my role in my own suffering? What did I do? What did I think? What did I feel that led to the situation going bad? What can I do better? And how can I implement it? That's evaluation. There is no emotion in it. It's objective. Judgment is, everything is going to shit. I am unlucky. Things always come do happen like this. I'm never gonna grow. I'm unlucky. Yada 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 yada. Right? That's judgment. So always ask, what am I doing? Am I judging or am I evaluating? The third and the most important thing is, stop judging other people. One of the hallmarks of those who are very afraid of judgment are the ones who judge other people, because you will always be afraid of things you give to other people, because you're afraid that they will give that back to you, right? That is why you will often see pessimists are always afraid. Why? Because they're always spreading negativity in other people's lives, so they're afraid of negativity coming into their life. Similarly, if you are someone who is very prone to judging other people, please stop. Okay, it's not helping you. Every time you judge other people, you know what you tell yourself, you tell your body that just the way you are speaking about other people will also be speaking this about you. That's why people who gossip the most are afraid that other people will gossip about them. People who judge other people the most are afraid that other people are going to judge them. So if you are judgmental, stop it. It's not serving you. It's not taking you anywhere. It's just going to make you more and more sad. Now, these are surface level things, something to become aware of, something to start practicing right away. Other things is you need to remind your inner child that you are there for him or her. Now, if you have done inner childhood healing, if you've ever worked with me, it will be easier for you. If you have not, then no problem. DM me coaching. We'll get on a clarity call. We'll actually see what exactly are your issues, where are they coming from, and we will start with your healing journey. But if you are someone who's actually undergone inner childhood healing, you need to understand that you must talk to your inner child every single day. You must hold his or her hand every single day and remind that child that you are never going anywhere, that you were always going to be that child. So inner childhood healing is extremely important when you have fear of judgment, because fear of judgment is nothing but shame, and shame is something that is very difficult to process for the child who was traumatized, right? Next thing is that you have to affirm that I have nothing to prove to anyone. Now, this is also again going to be coupled with trauma healing. So, what tends to happen with people who have a fear of judgment is they feel that they have to earn other people's validation to feel good about themselves, right? So, once you've done trauma healing, you must affirm every single day that I have nothing to prove to anyone. I know who I am, I know what I am, I know what I bring to the table, and it's enough. I am enough, right? So, this affirmation with trauma healing is going to be very powerful for you. And the next part is don't absorb everyone's energy. What do I mean by this? Now, another thing that tends to happen with people who have a fear of judgment is that they allow other people to judge them. What do I mean by this? So, for example, when you are afraid of judgment, if someone comes and tells you that, oh my God, what did you do? This is so wrong, you will absorb it. Whereas someone who does not have a fear of judgment is going to check two things. One is that person is going to check, does this person have the credibility to judge me? Does this person actually know what they're saying or doing, right? Second is the intention. What is this person's intention? Sometimes a person may be credible, but their intention towards you might not be good. And sometimes the intention of the person might be good, but their credibility is not high. For example, let's say that you have a jealous colleague, okay? That colleague knows about something better than you, and he's coming you and trying to discourage you about something and criticize you. Now you may think this person knows more than me, so I should accept it. No. Second question is, does this person have good intentions for you? If the answer is no, then this person is not credible enough, does not have the right to actually evaluate you. Second is, it's taking a career advice from, let's say, your mom or your dad, right? Who are not in the field that you're doing. Their intention is good, but do they have the credibility to answer that? Do they have the credibility to give you advice? The answer is no, right? So both the criteria should be met. Is the person credible to give you the advice that you're looking for? Is the person's intentions good, right? And the last and the most important thing is do deep trauma work. If you have never undergone childhood trauma healing and you have fear of judgment, you have no idea what you're missing out on. You must go do that, because that is what is going to change your life completely. You're never going to be the same person, because shame is what is holding you back. Your fear that people will look down on me, people will humiliate me, people will mock me is what is holding you back. And this is an emotion you need to release outright. Running behind hacks, doing mindless meditation is not going to work. You must help that inner child who's waiting for you to help, that waiting for your help, right? Because that child only has you, and that child feels lost every single time you don't help that child out, right? And if you are someone who actually wants to do this deep work and you want to be committed to this, again, not looking for hacks, but actually want to do this, you can simply DM me coaching and we can get on a one-on-one call, and we're going to do a deep work. We're going to do a deep trauma healing session, as well as I'm going to do a traumagram of you, and we're basically going to see where exactly is trauma coming from, right? And if you've never attended my childhood trauma healing bootcamp, it's a free 4-day bootcamp I do every single week. You can simply DM me bootcamp or go to the featured section of my profile and join the group. Right now, I'm giving out recordings for the bootcamp because I'm not doing it live for the first 2 weeks of May. So you can get your hands on recordings as well. And all the links that you want are available in my, feature section of the profile. And another thing, if you are someone who actually loves the work that I do, and you yourself have always felt this calling to do this work, I am also launching a life coach training and certification program for people who are serious and serious aspirants of life coaching, right, who actually see themselves becoming that, or they want to do it on the side, or actually want to transition into full time life coaching. You can check all of this out in the feature section of my profile. Take your time, go through my content, learn everything that you want to learn and you have to learn, and then DM me with all the question or queries or anything that you may have. Okay, so I'm going to see if there are any questions for today before we conclude our session. How can I book a one-on-one session? Just the way I said, no, you can either DM me coaching, okay, or you can just go to the featured section of my profile. You'll find the link there. Just book a slot of your choice. So far, I think I don't have any questions. So we're going to end our live event for today. If you're someone who missed out on it, you can watch it as a recording. It's available on my profile. Like all the lives that I do are just available under the event section. And if you are someone who knows, who needs to hear this, who actually is someone who has a crippling fear of judgment, then share this live event with them. They may benefit it. They will benefit from it, and you will be doing someone a great favor. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. I had fun hosting this today, and I will see you, I think, coming Friday with another live event. Bye bye.